Richard Mensah, a co-founder of Women and Youth in Beekeeping and Value Chain Ghana, has cautioned Ghanaians not to purchase honey obtained from the bush, as it is often not processed properly. During a week-long training session for young beekeepers at the University College of Agriculture and Environmental Studies in Bonso Eastern Region, he urged consumers to make an effort to know the source of the honey they purchase.
I also encourage Ghanaians, do not patronize any honey that they tell you this is the best, is from the bush, and you don't know its source. Don't. Because what they do is that they go to the bush, the forest areas, and they are looking for honeycombs hanging on the tree. They don't have any way of climbing the tree. They don't even have protective clothing. So what they do is they use naked fire to burn the bees or cut down the trees just for that small amount of honey. And then the processing is horrible. They squeeze with your dirty hands, and then they put it in bottles, and they go from house to house. There is no labeling on it. You can't trace where it's coming from. And they tell people this is the best. And that when you provide a hive for the bees to stay in, the hive is there for a house for them, so that you don't cut down trees. And then they will go, the bees feed themselves and come. We don't feed them. They pick the nutrients they want, the pollen they want, and then they produce that honey. That is the honey you should patronize. And when you are patronizing that, you are helping the smallholder, the youth, the young women who are producing quality food for us to eat, rather than those who will set bushfires and destroy our farms and make food expensive. Do not patronize it. So the best thing to get quality honey, know your supplier. Know your supplier, and once in a while visit your supplier and know what your supplier is doing. Once in a while pick a sample, send it to the lab for analysis. But key thing, know your supplier. Ask how they get their honey. And if it is cutting down trees, burning the bees with fire, do not patronize. That is not good for the environment. And you cannot assure quality. They don't have the machines, the equipment to process. They don't protect themselves, they kill the bees.
Well, let's stay a bit longer on this, because we have been joined in the studio by the founder, Richard Mensah Oko, for further conversation on this. I've also been joined by Joanna Pencil. She's one of the women being trained in beekeeping. Grateful for your time, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you, madam.
But I'm just bothered about the last thing I saw in that report, that we shouldn't purchase the honey that is coming straight from the bush. We thought that was the purest.
Thank you very much for this question, and I'm glad you asked it, because these people have been so good at marketing that, and they are selling, and people patronize because they think that's the purest. It is not.
Okay.
It just is not. And then they tell you that if the honey is coming from a beehive, then it's not like original. That's also not true.
Okay.
What happens is the bees move out into the forest areas. They look at the nectar source, so trees, flowers, and then they decide which one they want to pick. So they get their pollen, the nectar, get clean water. And then they make the honey for themselves to use. So if I have a hive, the bees flow out and they go and pick their food. They only come there to come and sleep. And in the morning they go.
Okay.
If they are just hanging on a tree, they don't have a hive, what they do, the same thing, they go out. So we all go out, but it depends on where we come to sleep and where we keep our honey. So if the honey is up there because they don't have a hive to go in, then you have to climb. And if the tree is very tall, then you have to cut down the tree and use naked fire to burn them. So you could say the source is still the nectar available within that enclave. However, if you keep them in the hive, you don't climb any tree to bring your honey, and you have to burn the tree or cut it down. And then you can also manage the bees very well, because you control the population, you manage them, you can divide them, you know what is wrong, when to give them water or not. So the same honey, just like this one, the African raw honey, is from the natural habitation
Okay.
is picking the same nectar, picking the same pollen, and then storing it in the hive you have created, which is their home, and it's well protected. The wild, what they call the wild, is the same thing. They all go there, but it's hanging on the tree. Now, what we do is when we get a hive, is try to bait the bees to come from the top of the tree to come into the hive, and then they produce for you. The ones they go there, they use naked fire to burn them down because they don't have the protective clothing. So what they do is to burn them so that the bees go away, they die, then they take the honey.
Okay.
Now the processing is when they come, they don't have even the press or anything. So put your fingers and process. Just to squeeze it out and bottle it. And the amazing thing, I'm surprised why people patronize. You will see the dead bees on the honey you are going to take, and maybe it has been there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows?
Okay.
And they tell you, see the bees, this is the best thing.
Okay.
That should not be patronized.
How dangerous is it to find the bees themselves in the honey? They are the producers in the first place.
They are dead. They are contaminating the honey.
Okay.
You know, when the bees produce the honey, they are in smaller quantity, in combs, sealed,
Okay.
very clean, no contamination.
Okay.
No contamination. When the moisture content is too high, they won't even seal it. Once it's capped or sealed,
Okay.
everything is neat. Why would you use your finger to introduce bacteria into it?
Into the thing.
And then you come to sell it. And you tell people that's the best. That's not true. And nobody should patronize that. Because again, any beekeeper is an environmentalist. We should appreciate the role of bees, especially in pollination. I go more for pollination because that's what helps us to have enough food, food self-sustainability. We should all promote that. The byproduct is the honey and the bee wax and other bee products. So if I get anybody cutting down trees or burning the bees, I don't think I can tolerate you. That should not be. And nobody should patronize those things. Yeah.
Joanna, so, I mean, so far you've had some grants and you're training people. How has it been so far?
The training is interesting, very interesting. And I have been in beekeeping for 5 years, and I have some hives in Kranzan. And the training has taught us a lot so that we should go out and train other youth and women who are willing to enter into beekeeping. Then those who are into crop farming. So we go train them, then integrate the beekeeping into their crop farm.
Okay.
Then their crops will increase for them to harvest more yields, then harvest the bee product too as well.
Ms. Oko, how has it been for you?
It's been a challenge, but to me it's a welcome challenge because what we do is, normally we don't charge the farmers. Already they are afraid of bees, and you are introducing it to them that, look, we want to increase crop yields. You need the pollinators. About 95% of farmers we talk to know about fertilizer. They don't know about the importance of bees or even pollination. They don't. So that's what we tell them. Once you increase your pollinator service, and bees are excellent pollinators, pollinating more than 75% of the food we eat, you are going to harvest more. Then you can have more crops to sell and have more money. Then you can also harvest additionally the honey, the bee wax, and other bee products.
Okay.
But when you tell people bring bees on your farm, they are already afraid. So you can't charge them.
Okay.
So you have to be there, say then sponsor sometimes the training, the feeding and everything, get some hives to establish for them. And then when they see the result, they take it up. So the challenge is, how do we go out there to meet them if you are not getting support from anyone? That's our biggest challenge.
But how has the response been? I mean, those coming to benefit from this, you don't charge them. They also coming to get some knowledge to boost their farming and stuff. How has the response been?
Everywhere we've gone to, when they see the results, it's amazing. They pick it up. Now they start investing their own money into it because now they see it. That it's true. It's very true. We have a lot of them on YouTube and are giving their testimony. It has changed their life. Their children have finished university. They now build their dream houses. Amazing. But there are so many communities there who want this introduction. And right from here, we brought our bags. We are going to Soton there for another program, introduction somewhere, and training.
Okay.
Yes. So a lot of people are now asking, especially thanks to JoyNews. Now everybody's, oh, so you do this. I have calls. We can support you. Come to us. Come and help us. Calls are coming. Okay. But you also need some support to go to them and then do the training.
What kind of support are we talking about?
We need, mostly, it depends, we are looking mostly on our funding, transportation to those people we don't have. We have to use our trottoirs everywhere. Most of the communities, the roads are not that good. So some motorbike you go to, how even to fund people or yourself to go there, accommodation, a bit feeding, and the staff you go with, you must give them something. And at least we must also have some beehives to give to them and bee seals so that they see and after they can pick it up. So that initial introduction is a challenge.
Okay. Joanna, how many people have you guys trained so far?
For the training at Bonzo?
Yes.
Yeah, we trained 10 farmers, including me.
Including yourself. Yes. Okay, 10 farmers.
Yes, 10 farmers. And
then
we will go and train.
Okay, it's like a trainer of training.
Training of training, yes.
Okay. So you would then go and train how many more farmers out there?
At least 5.
At least 5. One person would train at least 5?
Yes, please.
Okay. So 10 training 5 each makes it about how many? 50? Yeah?
Yeah, 50.
50.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds good. So let's talk about the process in itself. You gave me a hint at the start of the reason why we shouldn't purchase the one that comes from the bush, because you think that it's not hygienic and it may be contaminated. But with this value chain process, tell me more about it.
All right. So that we're watching now. Once you pick from the comb, and you pick the comb, you cut it out. We have a honey press. So you put in your press. If you are using, let's say, the Langstroth hive, which is like a frame hive, then you need a centrifuge. So we do the centrifugal extraction. But if you are using the Toba hive, be it the Kenya, Tanzania, or South Pond, you need a press. So you should first of all know which honey to harvest and which not to harvest.
Okay.
The honey must be ripe. You should know what is ripe honey from the comb.
Okay.
So you don't just go in and press everything you see or cut everything down as those harvesting the bush do. Because there's no way they can separate that. Because when you pick from the hive, when you pick the comb and you do the inspection, you can say that this is not matured enough, so I won't harvest that one.
Yeah.
So I harvest only the matured honey. I put it in the press. The press, you press it down, the honey drains by itself. And then you collect into your bottle. You must also have a strainer so that you strain it or sieve it so that what is coming out now you know does not contain particles. And you don't use your hands in any way to press the honey. You don't want any contamination. Then you bottle. You don't do anything, you don't add anything to it, you don't take anything out of it. Then you press.
It looks scary sitting here. I'm actually, I'm feeling some way. We know that bees, they bite.
You think, yes.
So how do you do this? I mean, so you don't get all because they are all over.
They are all over you.
All over.
So if you watch, you see they are over. You are well protected. So you need your protective clothing. The bee seals, the field boots, your gloves. You should be well protected. And you should be trained not to be afraid of the bees. But no matter how good you are, you must always be protected.
Joanna, how did you feel first time?
I was interested.
How did you feel? I mean, I'm sure you're feeling the same way I'm feeling right now.
Nervous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm now cool with it.
So you go in with all those gears?
Yes, please.
Okay. And your face doesn't look protected.
It does.
Do you wear something to protect your face?
Yes, we wear a veil.
Okay, yes. So that's
attached to the suit.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't get a sting.
Yes, please.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's talk about the impact so far. Women in beekeeping. Yeah. What has the impact been so far?
You know, when I started the National Beekeepers Association, I formed that. We started in the year 2000. We followed some farmers from Nkrasa and Techima. But by 2011, it's grown so much that we can't call it Nkrasa and Techima. It became the National Beekeepers Association, registered with the Registrar General. But I saw that the men were sort of putting the women behind. So in 2019, I formed the Women and Youth in Beekeeping, because that's the future. You have to look at the youth, you have to look at women.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when they took over. Now, WINBEAK, which is the Women and Youth in Beekeeping, has done so much. In fact, the UN Sustainable Development
Goals.
Yes, we were recognized in 2019. Yes, we took part, so we are featured in the youth report there. But it's amazing when you see the youth, the women, so much enthusiastic, and they are now going into it. And when they realize that they can make a lot more money, additionally to their crop farming, when they integrate the beekeeping, they embrace it wholeheartedly. Yes.
Interesting. There's one more thing that we've been hearing so much, and I want to find out from you. A lot of the things that people do to get more profits from their honey, I hear some burn foam or cushion or something, and they put it in it. Some will add sugar, all sort of things. So when you're going to buy honey, and it could be the reason why people want the one that is coming straight from the bush, because you know that is coming from the bee and not any concoction prepared for you. I mean, how true are these allegations? I mean, have you been confronted with some of these things?
Yes, we heard of so much complaints from people, and I don't have any reason to doubt it. Globally, it's happening. And then last year, the U.S. Beekeepers Association have to sue the organization that allow import, because some of the honey that came in when they tested was fake.
Okay.
So there's a lot of fake on the market, and it's very true. A lot of fake. People even buy like quality honey, like our honey, the African raw honey, and because of the profit motive, you or she will add things to it, and then retail to make more money. So it's very true. My advice is know the supply of your honey.
Okay.
Where you are, that's the best thing to do. Because now they become so sophisticated, you cannot easily detect.
But how do I get to know the supply of my honey? I just go to the supermarket, I find it on the shelves, and I pick.
That is true.
How do I get to know the supply?
That is very true. It's the reason why we are also here. Thanks to you. Because this is a national body. So you hear of us, you know what we do. We are now available because JoyNews is making us very popular. People are seeing it. People who didn't know of us now know of us. Come to us. You can go and pick also from there. I'm not saying any honey on the supermarket or all of them are fake.
Fake.
Can't say that.
Yeah.
But once you get from that particular brand, once in a while, take a sample to Full Research Institute or any institute and just do the test. Let them run the test for you.
But ordinarily, how do you tell that your honey is pure? Because, I mean, it's not, I don't think just the color being dark is what shows that it's pure.
No.
Because I know there's honey that is also white. Different colors.
Even Jamaica has honey that is reddish.
Exactly. Yeah. So how do you tell that your honey, the honey you're buying, is pure?
To be honest with you, you cannot just open just one honey, look at it and say, oh, this color, or even the smell is good. No, there's nothing to test. Now, people will come and say, okay, put a mastic into it, and then when you light it and it lights, it means it's pure honey. That's not true.
Okay.
All that tells you, it's good you can use it. All that tells you, we don't have a lot of moisture in it, that's all.
Okay.
Because if you have a lot of moisture, then the mastic will get wet, and when you are lighting, it will not light. But what if I put it in, let's say, syrup?
Okay.
That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
So you put it to light.
But it will still be fake.
Yes. So people will tell you, oh, when you pour it in the gun, it rolls. Yes, it's true. Syrup can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So all those physical things we use is not a conclusion. And don't base on that because I tested it, I put it in the fridge or something, it didn't form ice. It's all because of moisture. It's not true.
Okay.
So the best thing, that's the challenge we have. know your supplier. Once in a while, also, just send it to the lab. Let them do. Then you can trust your source.
Yeah. I'm grateful for your
Thank
time.
you
Richard
so much.
Mensah Oko is one of our impact makers on JoyNews, and you heard the advice. Just make sure you know your supplier, then you can buy the purest honey. Joanna Pencil, thank you so much for passing by. Grateful, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. Now let's